Chapter 7, verse 16. Chaturvidha bhajante ma jana sukritinor arto jigyasurartharthi yani cha bharatarshava. In this chapter, so far we saw how Shree Krishna, in order to nurture Arjun's sentiment of devotion, revealed to him the knowledge of his self, how everything is manifested from him and everything is his energy. Having said that, Shree Krishna also clarified that although he possesses all opulences and glories, the people of the world are unable to know him because they are under the illusion of the material energy and its three modes. He then went on to say that the only way to cross over this material energy called Maya is by surrendering to him. And he said, 4 kinds of people do not surrender unto me. Those who are foolish, those who are lazy, those whose intellect is deluded, and those who have an envious mentality towards God. Now in this verse, he talks about 4 kinds of people who worship him. He previously said 4 kinds who do not come to his shelter. Now he says, these 4 kinds of people worship me. Arth, Jigyasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. Who is Arth? Somebody who is in distress. So their distress propels them towards God with the hope that by coming to the shelter of God, their distress will go away. That was Draupadi's surrender to God, the famous surrender of Draupadi. She was in distress. And then, to relieve her from that distress, when she got disappointed, my husbands cannot help me, these big dharmacharyas cannot help me, I cannot help myself. The only way out, she felt, was if Shree Krishna can help me. So she lifted her hands and cried out, Govinda Dwarika Vasan. Oh, Shree Krishna of Dwaraka, please come and save me. So Shree Krishna says, this is the first category of people who devote themselves to him with the hope of getting relief from their current miseries. That is Arth. The second are Jigyasu, who are curious. What is this? These people, they go out in the sun and the heat and then chant Radhe Radhe up and down in the lawns. What kind of kick do they get out of it? Let me go and find out. So, some people, out of curiosity, it could be of various kinds. The curiosity that what is the absolute truth? Who has made this world? Who am I? And this curiosity, the desire for knowledge, brings them onto the devotional path. They happen to hear the right kind of spiritual knowledge and they start engaging in devotion. So Shree Krishna says this is the second category, those who are jigyasus, curious. And the third category are those who are artharthi, who are seekers of material opulence. If I engage in devotion, it is possible my business will improve. Right? So, rather than invest so much in improving my business, why not give something to Tirupati Balaji? I hope he will improve my business. So many people go to Tirupati Balaji in this hope. Shree Krishna says that's the third kind of people, artharthi, who are seekers of material opulences. They also come to worship me. And then the fourth kind of people, these are jnani, those who are in knowledge, who have understood that they are not the body, they are the soul, they are tiny parts of me. Their constitutional position is to love and serve me. The happiness is not in the world. It is in serving me that they will find that fulfillment. When they have understood this, and in this knowledge, they engage in devotion to me. So this is the fourth category of people. So Shree Krishna has specified these four categories. Now let's see what does he go on to say. 17th verse. Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnaninotyartham aham sacha mama priyah. So having said that there are four kinds of people who come to me, Shree Krishna says, Arjun, that jnani is very dear to me. And I am very dear to him. The jnani who is devoted to me in knowledge. So why is that jnani dear to Sri Krishna and not the others? See, the others are engaging in devotion so they can get something out of Sri Krishna. That is not as yet perfect devotion. That is devotion tinged with selfishness. So true devotion is something that is totally different. True devotion is that where there is no self-seeking. This kind of devotion is not engaged in for our own happiness, but for the happiness of the beloved. Naradji in his Bhakti Darshan says, Tat Sukha Sukhitvam. He says, this bhakti I am talking about. What is the nature of it? Tat Sukha Sukhitvam. To be happy in the happiness of the beloved. Even in the world, people talk about causeless love, selfless love. Love by itself is not enough. Love, the sentiment of love, is in everyone, the animals as well. They also know how to love. But then, why all this problem, misery, suffering, dissatisfaction? Because we haven't learned selfless love. So those whose thinking has become elevated, sublime, they tell us even in the world, these motivational coaches and all will tell you that be a selfless lover, be a causeless lover. In other words, learn to give, not to take. So why? Well, that is the nature of love for God. That kind of love, when we learn, that is what will satisfy us completely. Not the lower kind of love, the higher kind. That is why Kripaluji Maharaj, we sang that Kavali just now. In the next Kavali, he says, प्रेम में है सदा देना देना, सोचना भी नहीं कुछ है लेना, लेने वाला बड़ा भोला भाला, ब्रज के रसिकों में शामिल नहीं है. He says that if you wish to love God, then learn the formula of it. In this love, there should be only giving, 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 not even thinking of taking. Oh God, what can I get from you? Don't think of it. Because that pure water of love will get tainted by self-seeking and selfishness. Whereas love is a pure thing which is entirely selfless. So, world, we have only learned the other kind of love. In all relationships in the world, husband, wife, son, father, friend, in all these, it's always what can I get? How can I become happy? And that is the reason for all these fights, all this dissatisfaction. That is the reason why worldly love goes up and down, up and down. So that kind of love we have learned for innumerable lifetimes. Now, when we come to the spiritual side, we have to reverse it. We now love God not for our happiness, but for His happiness. So in this love, if we have this motivation, if somebody is arth, in distress, oh God, I'll engage in devotion, remove this misery. Or if somebody is artharthi, I'll engage in devotion, but my business should improve. Or somebody is jigyasu, what is this devotion all about? Then that person will not have this kind of selfless love. That is why Shree Krishna says, it is the jnani who is very dear to me because his devotion is unmotivated. This kind of devotion requires tremendous knowledge, tremendous faith in the knowledge. See, because it goes completely against our worldly mentality. Saint Kabir says, Prem piyala jo piye, sheesh dakshina deya, lobhi sheesh na de sake, Nama prema kale. He says, if somebody wishes to drink the cup of divine love, that person has to be willing to give his head as an offering. And the lobhi, one who is worldly attached and greedy for the world, cannot give the head. He merely talks about love. In other words, love requires that kind of sacrifice. And that kind of sacrifice requires tremendous faith in the knowledge. Otherwise, why will we start giving? It goes against our mentality, right? There was one businessman. This is an Indian joke. There are different business communities in India, so it's about one person from one business community. I'll not take the name. So he fell into the water. And one person from the bank, he was screaming because this fellow was bobbing up and down. He said, "Give me your hand, give me your hand." The businessman was not willing to give his hand. So he said, "What's the matter? Which community is from?" He's from that community. Acha, acha, acha. Take my hand. Immediately the businessman grabbed it. Right? So take. We will always do it. Give. My God, why should I give? I'll suffer such a big loss. So giving requires greater faith in the knowledge, because nobody wants to suffer a loss. But the problem out here is that it is in giving that we receive. If we wish to receive the gift of divine love, we have to learn this first step, which is giving.